Hotep, Uncle Jocelyn. Check us out tonight. This Chazz and I, we are together. I'm gonna tell y'all now. If I don't show up tomorrow, remember this guy's face. He's the last one that I'm seen with. So we decided to do this broadcast tonight together because it's very important and it's crucial. And first of all, I want to say to everyone, this broadcast can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. And we definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. So I want to just say, hey, Chazz, how you doing? And get that out the way.
I'm doing all right yourself, and I'm trying to get familiar with this new setting, but I'm definitely enjoying it.
Wow.
We got a comment. It seems my brother Ray commented real early.
Yeah, that's Ray. Ray always popping in on us, man. He's one of those homers, man.
That's good.
He loves knowledge and insight and information. And I really appreciate this man taking time out of his busy schedule, as well as the rest of them, to watch this broadcast. Well, Chazz, let's dive right into the broadcast and the subject matter. What's the subject matter we have tonight?
This subject matter is going to be basically talking about our children in America, just basically the abuse rates. And we're going to get into a lot of different things. So I would suggest to everybody, buckle up, get your popcorn, sit down. This is going to be very important. And we're basically going to be talking about abuse from our children.
Yeah, you better watch who you allow to watch your children. That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And having said that, we're going to be looking at different aspects of it. Now, this is probably going to be a 3 to 4 week long broadcast because there's so much to say when we talk about not just abuse, but neglect and other aspects. So today we're just going to kind of set the table for you. And then on next week, we're going to go into the bits and the pieces of what's important when we talk about you better watch who you allow to watch your children.
Yeah.
Chazz, why should we talk about that though? That's the first, that's not even on our notes. Why should we even talk about this?
Because they're so sensitive, they're pure, they're not really indoctrinated by the government or anything yet. And plus, we want to make sure that we teach them at a young age. That way, when they get older, they're guided in the right direction. Because big brother, you know as much as I do, I'm telling you, our children can get on this, what you will call, they can get misled easily, and we want to try to nip that in the bud early.
Okay, well, let's start off by asking a true or false situation. What does that say?
True or false? Who we allow to watch our children is a relevant subject today, and I agree. It is totally true.
Okay.
Who we allow to watch our children, big brother, and you know this.
Okay.
If we mess around and we have them, let's say, for example, sleep over at a relative's or friends after school, big brother, we don't know what they're into.
This is
true.
We
do not know what they're doing. So how do we not know that over their friend's house, they're not watching any explicit movies, fighting, violence? There's so much they can get into, brother. So I would suggest in this generation right now, I'm not saying that you have to lock the kid in the room and never let them out, but make sure when they're doing things, you're with them, because just dumping them off on others, you don't know what's going to happen.
This is a subject matter that people should be sitting around just drooling at, saying, hey, I really want to know more about this, because this is important. It's very crucial that we have this subject, and it is relevant. This is one of the most relevant subjects that you can talk about when you talk about your children and where they're staying and who we're allowing to watch them and who we're allowing in their space. Chazz, this is something that I think we need to slow the train down and really deal with this issue of you better watch who you allow to watch your children.
Number one, many people are very, very disturbed about the way our children issues are being ignored. Yes, they're being ignored. In fact, brother, I would say they're getting neglected.
What?
They're getting neglected. Now, these are some of the issues I wrote down real quick. So if you guys see me looking down, this is what I'm looking at. They're being neglected for number one. They're not getting proper exercise.
Whoa.
They're not getting attention at home from their parents, because when the parents get home from work, mostly they tell the kid to go in the room, shut the door, and that's it.
Wow.
And then last but not least, brother, they're probably, like I said, they're getting into things that they shouldn't get into because there's no attention. So we don't have attention. Kids are going to wander somewhere everywhere. So you have to be careful with what they're looking at.
Yeah, and this is the reason that we must have this discussion, because many people are very disturbed, man. Yes. You look at our children today, our little precious babies. You know, we should have more, not just broadcasts, but more conversations when these little children are in our presence about what's really going on, Chazz, because a lot of times we just assume that a child is happy.
Right.
We just assume that a child is good. But when you really look at it, a lot of our children are disturbed, not because of some psychological stuff that they dealing with emotionally, but it's because of what's put on them, what's putting them in that position. And this is why we should talk like this, because I think we should really look at why this is really going on.
And I was going to say real quick before I get to Ray's comment too, brother, when our kids are at school, we don't know what they're enduring for that 8-hour period. And you know as well as I do, when we grew up, kids got bullied or teased quickly. So you add that for 4 or 5 days out of the week they're at school, they're getting teased. Big brother, they're bottling all that in. They don't really know how to express themselves. So when they're internalizing all that information and it's bottled up, that's why sometimes you see them acting out at home, because they don't know what's going on.
Wow, that's awesome.
They don't.
Chaz, you laying the cards on the table. What we got here?
Brother Ray Coleman gave us another comment. He says, for many generation relevant. He's correct.
Yeah, it's going on. This isn't something that's not just started, Chaz. You know, this has been going on since the beginning of time. So we definitely need to look at this and address this issue.
And I was going to say real quick, brother Ray, he touched on a comment I had farther in my notes, but I'm going to say it real quick. Too many pedophiles. He's 1,000% sure. And brother Ray, I'm going to come back to that comment because I had a section about that later. He has another one he dropped on us. He says, back in our days, bullies had to fight. They did.
Yeah. So Chaz, I think this is something that we should continue to bring forward, and we have to have this discussion because everyone is not to be trusted with our children. Back in the day, we used to say this: it takes a village to raise a child.
Yes.
But Chaz, nowadays, I don't want that village raising my child. I don't want that village putting garbage into my child's mind. I don't want that village, some of those people that are ignorant, that don't even know how to view kids, that don't know the psychology of kids, that see them as a problem. I don't want them tampering with the mindset of these precious little kids. So back in the day, that may have been true, but because that village had the same mindset and the children were important. But nowadays, we got some rascals in our community. We got some no good people in our communities. Come on. And a lot of us don't like to hear this kind of language. But if you look at what's going on to our children, not just in pedophilia, these schools we're letting our kids go to, the things we're letting our kids watch, the way we talk to our children. This is some stuff that we've got to uncover tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So we're just getting started, Chaz. Everyone is not to be trusted with your children.
You're right. And big brother, I was going to say this too. And I don't want to step on anybody's toes. We all have relatives in our family. Come on, brother. Okay. We all have relatives in our family. They've done some time in the joint. They've done things. And on their record, I hate to crack this, big brother.
Crack it.
What they have on their rap sheet, on their stat sheet, some of it is molesting children.
Whoa, come on, Chaz. Slow that down.
So what we do sometimes, if we're dumping our kids off on anybody, especially with these holidays coming up, we dumping our kids off on anybody, brother. Some of our relatives can't be trusted, and that's not everybody, brother.
Right.
There's only a couple. So I want to say, the relatives that are in families who do have an appetite for children. Right. This is for you.
Whoa, Chaz, this is some heavy stuff, man.
You low down sick. It takes a sick man, brother, or a sick woman.
That's right.
To look at a kid sexually.
Okay.
And to really get pleasure out of a child, brother. That's sick. I have no appetite for it.
But Chaz, you dealing today, and the thing that I want to say, we're going to continue to talk about other aspects, but we just want to touch and go because we have another broadcast next week that we're going to go into the depths of it. But this is what I have a problem with. You're rotten scoundrel. You're going to take a child. A child's mind is not mature. Right. And so a child will do things based upon the idea that they're kiddish in their thinking. And so you will play up on a child. You sick. I can't say it, but these are the things we're talking about.
Come on.
And we're going to deal with these people too that allow these kids to go to these different schools. You're going to allow your child to be having messed up mindsets. You're going to allow your child, the way you curse at your child every day. Oh, yes, Chaz. We're going to talk tonight, but this is just the beginning, y'all. So all of us, we are not to be trusted with our children. I know a lot of you don't want this. Okay. But you got to take it. We all have to take this. And we're in a bad way, and we have to be honest about what's really going on.
Yes. Brother Ray commented, he says, men and women in the family.
Yeah, and he said
He's right.
in the family. Yeah.
He's right.
It's going on right there in our under our nose right in the families. So we're going to continue to talk about this because everyone is not to be trusted, Chazz. Right. But what about this one?
Number 3, some of us have terrible philosophy about our children, the way we think about them. And that's something I really have to hit home, brother.
Okay, talk about it.
I hear a lot in the everyday world. Oh, little Bam Bam bad, or Keisha bad.
Okay.
What were we doing? We were 4 and 5 years old. So the older I get, brother, I have to realize we all were that age. And whatever little Bam Bam, whatever Keisha and them were doing, we did it too.
Yeah.
Most likely, they're probably cussing.
Yeah.
They're probably sneaking off with their friends.
Yeah.
Brother, we did that too.
Yeah.
And we should understand if a kid is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, they don't have the mindset as
there you go. There you go.
So we can't judge them and say, oh,
they fast or they bad.
Yeah, or I babysitted Bam Bam for 2 hours and he got on my. I ain't never watch him again.
Yeah.
How can you say that about a child?
Well, you can say that when your own mind is screwed up, and because most of us don't know how to, as we say, view children. Children are going to do things that are silly.
Right.
Children. That's why they're children. They're still at the age and the stage of going through all the things that they go through to get to where they got to go.
Right.
And so, for me or you or anybody else that's an adult to say that a child is bad. If a child uses vulgarity, my question is, Chazz, where did they get it from?
9 times out of 10, they're getting it from the parents.
Okay.
They're watching things on TV. But even with now, let me be clear, brother, because I know some people say, well, they just letting kids get away with anything. No. We're not saying that, but we are saying we can't be so quick to judge them because what they're doing, we did, and we can't have a short temper to say, because I'm telling you now, brother, you've heard this. I would never watch Keisha again because she was just getting on my nerves. They're going to get in cabinets. They're going to tear the house up. So just be prepared for it.
And this is why the philosophy that we have with these children are so messed up. We try to make them be adults. We take a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old and we'll say they fast, they're bad, they're mannish. All they're doing is repeating what they've seen in that home or on that television screen or on this this actual computer that they get into. So it's problematic.
And why are we shocked? Because once again, if we can remember what we did when we were kids, we did the same exact thing.
Well, we have a short memory.
Okay.
Yeah, we really don't want to get down, Chazz.
Ray dropped another one on us. He said, I was a cussing child. My first word was the S blank word. Okay.
But he got it from somewhere.
Yeah.
See, here's the thing, and I know he's saying this without saying it. Whatever child he was, he learned it. He didn't even know how to spell, but he knew how to curse because he knew how to hear and he knew how to repeat what he heard. If you would have told him to spell it, if he knew how to spell it, that would have been a problem. But he doesn't because kids do things because of we repeat things. And this is why these broadcasts are very important. Tonight we're talking about you better watch who you allow to watch your children. And this is why Brother Ray is dealing and no one else wants to talk about it.
Bro, I got to drop one more, then we can get to the next point. And for you sisters out there, because I do see on social media, you are 20, 30, 40, 50 years old, and you're recording videos of you and your daughter twerking together.
Come on, Chazz.
Brother, we got to talk about this, brother. You saw this. I see this. For you women, it's nothing cute. What you're doing, and I don't want to act like I'm beating down on you, but what you're doing to this kid at a young age, you're sexualizing them. Before you know it, when they get older, they're going to probably have sexual problems. And this is just a topic that probably needs to be had for another day.
That's right.
But sisters, what we do in our private time, clubs or whatever, do that. But you should not be endorsing your daughter's twerking. It's nothing good about that.
Let a child be a child. Let a child have an upbringing where they remember their childhood as fun, where they remember their childhood as just having so much energy and all these different exciting things they did. Don't let these kids grow up having childhood memories of the stupid stuff that we put on them, and that's just not being with these pedophiles. We're talking about the other things that we allow these children to engage in too, Chazz, because this is very problematic. Very problematic.
Let's see. Ray got another one on, so I appreciate it. This is Brother Ray says Beyonce got her daughter Blue on the stage shaking it.
Yeah. He does. He's right about that, and they're doing a lot of other things too. So we're saying you got to watch that. You have to watch that. Okay. We have another comment. We try to get. This is just. I guess this is Ray's show tonight. Let him shine.
It says stop trying to be your child's friend and playmate. Yes.
Yeah.
And brother, and I have to say this. We're smoking dope with our kids.
Oh, come no.
Okay. I'm not okay.
Chazz, you mean that? You mean that?
Brother, I know people personally who I've been friends with, or even relatives.
Okay.
Their kids get home from high school
or
middle school.
Okay.
And they even ask the son or daughter, you got a dime sack or you got a blunt?
Come on,
Chazz. They're sitting at home and they're firing up those blunts.
Come on, Chazz.
That's what they're doing. That's just, and I have to say this, brother, because when we talk about these things, we want to cover everything. I'm not going to leave any stone unturned. We're going to deal with every single point. Okay. Number 4, discussing who is in our children's lives should be of great importance. Absolutely.
Yeah, we should want to know, Chazz, look, we should want to know who's in our children's life. And another thing is, just because that person wears a suit, or they wear a tie, or they wear a clergy collar, or they wear a dashiki, or they wear a robe, you know, that's not what we're talking about. I should want to know who my child is engaging with on a day-to-day basis. And the thing of it is most of us, we think that because a person has a so-called education or they have a good job, they would never do these things. These are some of the very people that are poisoning these kids' minds every day. And we've got to deal with this, Chazz, because a lot of people don't want to talk about this because they hide behind their cell phones. And a lot of people today that are grown are struggling and hurting because their childhood, and they never got these kind of discussions. They never had a broadcast with 2 brothers that put it out there. What about the men? See, men will critique you and I and talk bad about us for having this discussion, but they won't say a damn thing about what's going on with these children and how these children's lives are being affected. This thing is all screwed up, Chazz.
It really is. And like you mentioned, they want to come down on us, but we're doing this out of love. The people you should be getting hated with is the people that's doing it. Let's see. Brother Ray has another one. He says, mine's is grown and I refuse to drink liquor with them and hang out with clubs with them.
Right. And he shouldn't. He's a grown man.
Yeah.
You know, and again, it's just that a lot of us nowadays, we've let this thing go. And now we're angry. We don't want to watch broadcasts that are just basic, that's truth tellers. We want to watch the dumb stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, we want to watch somebody tell us how many stars are in the galaxy or how many times a person can fly in the sky. Right. You know, these are the things that we want to do. And so this is why people don't want to sit down and say, hey, you brothers are dealing with some heavy stuff.
Yes.
I need to talk to my children about this.
Yes.
I need to question myself when I go places. Do I always need to leave my children over to somebody else's house at night? Especially girls. And now it's boys as well. And so this is a problem that's going on, and this is what's really happening. Now, Chazz, here's something called Statistica. And basically what this is basically a database company. They're out of Germany, and they specialize in gathering information. And they basically were telling us about the child abuse rate in the United States in 2021. Now, for those who can't see this arrow, this first arrow shows the different types of children. Now, it says American Indian or Alaska Native, they're being dealt with and abused at a 15.2% rate.
Wow.
And no one seems to think that this is crucial. Wow. We don't want to look at these kind of broadcasts. 15.2. Chazz, that means some people are being whipped. Some people are being beaten. Some people are being cursed out. Some people are being molested. Some kids are being drugged from pillar to post. And this is what the problem I have. And you can say all you want to that I need to calm down. I'm not going to calm down because this subject is very dear to my heart. And as a male, I will not sit around like a fat. I will not sit around like a young man who just act like, well, Chazz, that's the way of the world. I can't do that. What about the African American abuse?
It's just African Americans have been abused at 13%.
Whoa, Chazz, hold on for a second. You said what?
The African Americans, us, the black people,
13.
We are being abused. Our children, I should say, are being abused at 13%, brother.
Ooh, man.
And I'm going to finish real quick the other races because this is not just for blacks, all children.
Right.
The Hispanic community, they're getting abused at 8%. Our white brothers and sisters, they're being abused at 7%.
This is shocking.
Our Asian brothers and sisters, they're at a 1% rate, and I forgot to mention our Hispanic community, brother.
The biracial.
8%, and then the multiple and biracial, they're getting abused at
Chazz,
a 10% rate.
Okay, Chazz, you got to talk to me now. What is going on with these numbers? A lot of kids are getting messed up, is what it's saying.
I want to just add something that I saw on social media that disturbed me that has to tie with this, brother.
Okay.
I saw a video. There's a sister that lives in Chicago, Illinois, and
Okay.
this is the new thing that's going on.
Okay.
You know, a lot of these abandoned houses that we drive by every day, we think nothing of it. What this sister said she saw was there was a kid she heard was screaming. I guess they were driving, going about, or walking. Long story short, she heard a kid screaming, and it was coming from this house, and the house is abandoned, dilapidated front yard. The porch was terrible. Everything around the brother was all messed up. And the new thing that these traffickers and stuff are doing, brother,
okay, what they doing?
They're getting these children, they're putting them in, because we're not thinking about abandoned houses. We just driving.
Right.
Brother, our sisters and brothers are getting chained up.
Come on, Chazz. Come on, Chazz.
I have to send you the video.
Man. Come on, man.
The sister was breaking down in tears. The kid had been in his home, I want to say, for about 3 or 4 days. And when she came out, she was bloodied up, bruised up. She was basically handcuffed. And there was about 2 men in there that were abusing her. This is in Chicago, Illinois. You guys could look this story up.
Okay.
It's sad to see our children getting abused. This brother, they can't fight. And if you have chains and stuff on them, you got their mouths covered.
Yeah.
Their little voices, they can't be heard.
Chazz, this is very disturbing, but someone has to say this, Chazz, because we think that we live in a world that everything is great. You know, I was even watching, and we'll probably bring this up too within the next few weeks, where there was a situation where a young lady was so in love with a man.
Okay.
I want to call him an N, but she was so in love with this man. This man was abusive to her.
Okay.
So she let this man watch her 3-year-old daughter. Do you know that?
Say it. Come on, brother. Let's get it out.
Do you know that no good, low down, dirty, rotten scoundrel, he beat that child to death? Because she loved him, she said, so much. And it took everything within me to not explode, because she was still saying that, look, he killed her daughter. Now, he was her boyfriend when they went to court. And I have video of this. We might even show some of it. It's graphic. But basically, the video that I have is when they went to court. Okay. The father was sitting behind the guy that did it. Oh, and the father ran up to him and stole him right in the court. And they broke him up and put the father in jail. But see, this is the stuff that African Americans, Hispanics, Latinos, Europeans, conscious people, Christians, Muslims, Jews, all of us. See, we don't want to have these discussions, Chazz.
They got to be had.
These are our babies, man. Yeah. We've got to have these discussions. And this is why Ray is he's just going on and on and on.
We got a brother. Mashonda says sad.
It really is. It really is.
Ray got us. He says badgered wife syndrome.
Yeah. It's just ridiculous, Chazz.
Yes. Let's see.
Oh, that's the first one we have. Let's go down some more. I think I'm so getting.
I know we both fired up because brother, these discussions have to be had. It's enough going on, and we try to run from it, but we can't because it's all around us.
Yeah, this is a good one right here.
Number 5. Who we allow in our children's lives is essential for ensuring their safety and protection.
Yeah. I want someone in my child's life that's all about safety and protection.
Right.
I don't want a slick talking nickel. I don't want these people. I don't want a man or a woman that's next to me because I love them so much, and I'm gonna leave them with my kids because they love me, and I think that they're gonna love my children the same way. I want to investigate, Chazz. Yeah. I want to know everything I can. Now, if I mess up, it's gonna be because I just dug so deep, and it just was gonna happen.
Right.
But other than, I'm not gonna turn my child over to you or anyone else if I don't know you, if I don't know anything about you, or you can tell me how many presidencies you won. You can tell me how many footballs or basketballs you caught. You can tell me how many churches you went to. You can tell me how many mosques you went to, because now we got some of these religious preachers, man. These preachers, some of them, not all of them. Some of them are doing these boys, man, and it's like, we know it's happening, but we won't talk about it. We won't talk about it.
Brother, you just I just forgot about that. So you Vatican people too, because you are the main culprits at this. You walk around with these long white sheets, you wear these crosses, and you supposedly representing Yahuwah or whoever you say. And in these churches, brother, our white brothers and sisters are getting raped at a high rate. And these Vatican people, how can you say that you believe in God and you're
Chazz, a lot of men and women that's watching this, They're angry with us, man. This is how sick we are.
Okay.
Instead of saying, you brothers need to pour this thing on like never before, I'm right there with you. They're angry with us because they're giving everybody an excuse.
Right.
They say, well, this person had this done to them, and so now they're doing it to another child. Well, if you knew it was wrong when it was done to you, damn it, why are you doing it to the child?
Exactly.
See, these are the excuses, and then we want to be philosophical about it.
Right.
Well, because from a philosophical standpoint, when you look at the brain cells, we're giving them excuses, Chazz, and you're not letting them off the hook. Neither am I, because we have too many people in our communities that need to be dealt with, and most of you are silent as a church mouse.
Yes.
And you know some of this stuff is true, and you won't even testify to the fact that our children need safety and protection.
I was going to ask you, brother, for those brothers and sisters who are getting molested and raped at these churches, not only by the Vatican, just even the local churches in your city, their preachers, and some of them are involved in this. How do we combat that?
You're not going to be able to, because the parishioners, they're going to take up for that man or that woman because they love them so much. They're going to make an excuse. Well, all have sinned and come short of it. They're going to say something that's going to take the focus off of what really happened instead of putting them in prison, because in prison, you get what is called prison justice.
Oh, yeah.
When you go to the pen and you molest a child or you mess some child up, then the brothers in the penitentiary and the sisters, they're going to make sure that something happens to you. That's called prison justice.
And I believe, brother, not to get into sports, but there was a brother by the name of Jerry Sandusky. He was a coach in Penn State.
Okay.
He got involved in some stuff like this, and I don't remember the story, but I remember it had something to do with him molesting kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to believe he was so scared when he got locked up.
He should have been. He should have been. He should have been.
Let's see here.
Well, no, I just had a comment, but you can keep on dealing with that safety and protection.
Yes,
they need that, Chazz. Nowadays, our children need to be protected, not just from people that they see, the people on the internet. They need, I know that was a pet peeve of yours. Ooh. The people on the internet, they need to be protected from these pirates, man.
Yes.
These perverts
yes.
on the internet. They need to be protected from some of these teachers teaching our children garbage.
Yes.
They need to be protected from some of their relatives. Some of their relatives are up to no good.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not just about the molestation or pedophilia. It's about making sure that whoever is in your child's life, that their minds are not twisted to where they're going to even teach your children something that's going to be disturbing.
But see, brother, and I hate to fight back on this, but I'm just more aware of what's going on. A lot of these people, like what we're talking about, you would want your child to be with someone that's safe, sharp-minded,
you
and
want
has
to
a
be,
good.
yeah.
But brother, I've heard from the community nowadays, brother, they say if a person that has a good mind and that's nice to the kids and they teach them well in that, brother, they say that brother or sister is lame. They don't want that brother or sister. They would rather have the other person that's teaching them stupid stuff, teaching them violence. They want that rather than the well-minded brother or sister, which I think is sad.
It's very sad because that's what we are today.
Number 6, we should always be very active in our children's lives so that they know we care. Yes.
Okay.
And I'm going to say one thing, and I'll toss it to you, brother.
Okay.
I believe if we have the funds, because I know everybody's tight on cash, we should be having our kids in some kind of after-school activity. Basketball, soccer, dancing class, acting class, something. And it doesn't always have to be money. Taking them to the park and just letting them run around. Show them that you care because, brother, our kids, they may not say this verbally, but in their minds, they say, Mommy or Daddy doesn't care about me.
Oh, wow.
And, brother, when you hear a child say that or you accidentally come upon them having a conversation with a friend and they hear that, but that's heartbreaking. They're so aware that they know Mama and Daddy doesn't care about me. Brother, that's sad.
You better watch who you are allowing to watch your children. I'll say it again. That's the subject tonight.
Yeah.
You better watch who you allow to watch your children because there's a lot of mess going on today and our children are being bombarded with a lot of nonsense and it's shaping them and it's messing them up from at a very early age. And so we should always be active in our children's lives.
Yes.
We should always participate in the things that they do. We should listen to our children.
Yes.
Tonight's broadcast is adults only. That's the name of this show. This is Chazz. I'm Big Brother Jahi, and we're just opening opening this thing up tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Next week, we're going to go into some details. When we say abuse, we're going to define what is abuse. You're going to be surprised. We're going to define what is neglect. You're going to be surprised. Some of us neglect our children and we don't lay a finger on them. We neglect them in a lot of ways. So we're just gonna comb this whole thing so that you can understand that this is a serious matter and it's so much information. So we appreciate Ray in his comments.
Oh, yeah.
And those who are watching this broadcast. But you know, sometimes when you grab a person by the jugular vein, they're not going to say anything.
Oh, no.
And this is a pertinent issue in the African American community, Hispanic community, Hispanic American, any other kind of American. And this is why people don't want to deal with this, Chazz, because of this.
Number 7, just because this is an uncomfortable subject for many doesn't mean that they shouldn't be discussed at all. You're totally right, brother, because here's the thing. We love to talk about things that feel good.
Oh,
okay,
right.
Anything uncomfortable, we try to wiggle and shy away from it. So with this discussion, these discussions, I admit, I don't have kids, but brother, these discussions are uncomfortable, but they have to be had. And here's the thing.
Okay.
I look at it from the standpoint of this. Just because you don't have a son or daughter, I look at kids all around. There are sons and daughters because we need to be aware of them. Because brother, if we don't, social media, the police, they're gonna grow these kids up quick.
Yeah.
They're gonna grow them up quick, and we're not gonna like the result that they get if we don't put a stamp or a thumb on this early.
Chazz, this thing has gotten out of control. And my whole issue is with us as adults, many of us, we don't seem to care. Now we'll say we do, but we really don't, because if you look around, you'll see that we don't even have this discussion. If I see you and I go like, Chazz, how your daughter doing? And you go, she's doing okay. And I start asking you questions about, well, have you been noticing some things differently about her or whatever? So you better stay out of my business, when basically that she's trying to tell you that something is going on. And we're not just talking about being molested. We're talking about even from an educational perspective.
Yes.
These are the things that we should be talking about. But many of us adults, we just want a blunt, a beer, a joint, some dope, some clothes, an apartment, a car, a home, a man, a woman. We just want to be loved, and to hell with everything else. And that's why this country is the way it is.
Oh, yeah.
This is why it is.
You said a handful, and that is most of us. We got some more comments rolling in. Mashonda says, it's so important to have these talks with our kids, letting them know if they're being touched in any appropriate way to let us know. Okay, she's right on that too. And we have to be honest. We need to tell our kids.
Okay.
Don't lie to me. If you tell me that such and such has touched you, I'm going to address them.
Right.
If I find out that you're lying, because brother, sometimes our kids, they do lie.
Yeah, they do.
If they're telling the truth, then we deal with them. But if they're not, we have to tell them that that's not fair.
I want to add something on to that.
Okay.
Most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, I think they're right.
Okay.
Because a child is not going to out the blue. Who would think of to just lie on somebody in that way? Now, lying about other things, yeah. But when you're talking about touching their precious bodies, most children are not going to lie about that. And this is why we have to listen to these children. Yeah. And this is why it's so important.
She's so right, brother.
She really is.
Because she knows that from a female's perspective, and I don't know about the boys, but from a female's perspective, they do get, and I don't know the percentage. You have to look this up, brother, but I believe more girls are getting fondled and molested than the boys.
Yeah. And see, here's another thing, though. What about people messing with their minds in the educational? See, that's why I want to talk about next week and the week after that and the week after that, because a lot of us don't see. It's not just about molestation. Okay. We're not going to turn this broadcast into pedophilia, because that's something that we will talk about. We got a section for that. But damn it, what about sending your child to a school where they're dumping into your child's head that your child is no good? Yeah. They're dumping into your child's head, your child can't read, your child can't think, your child can't write, your child needs medicine. Yeah. What about your parents and your grandparents and your brothers and your sisters and your cousins and your aunts and your uncles who curse like sailor around them? What about the people who we let them see every day who's putting this mess into their little hearts? We don't talk about that. When we catch a molester, we want to crucify him, and we should.
Right.
What about the people in our houses, Chazz?
Yes.
What about them people?
The people in our houses, brother, we talked about this earlier. They may not be always molesting them, but they're probably poisoning them from a mental perspective.
Yes.
It's not good. And who these discussions, once again, have to be had, because we need to teach them at a young age that none of this is good. None of this is good. And if they listen to stuff like this, maybe they can nip this in the bud early, brother, because I just hate to see where society is going with our children.
It really is.
Another thing that says, sad thing about it a person will carry a molestation situation from childhood to adulthood and never open up about it, which is a scar that's carried for life that shouldn't have to be. Great topic.
Yeah, I want to talk about that. She's right. They carry the scar, but this is why we're talking right now. There should not be any scars if the man and the woman, and I don't care if the man and the woman are together, because oftentimes a person who has a child by a woman and vice versa, they may not be together, but you still have a responsibility. It's your responsibility to check. It's my responsibility to check. It's the uncle's responsibility. It's the aunt's responsibility. It's the niece's responsibility. It's the cousin's responsibility. See, we try to limit this thing, Chazz, to where it's just a few people, but everybody should be involved on this. And if we are, I promise you, it wouldn't be as bad. But most of us don't care, man.
I was going to say real quick about her comment. She's right, because we've heard too, brother, in times past, when the person that's molesting the child, they will tell that kid, if you say something, I'll kill you or something. Brother, that's going to scar a kid.
Yeah,
and that's probably
true.
why they're holding on to it so long. And then they wait till they're 20, 30, 40, or 50 to reveal it.
Right.
And then it's like, nobody believes them because they'll say, well, why didn't you nip it in the bud back then? Well, if their life is in danger, what do you expect?
And if they have a father, you would think that the father should override that. The father should override that.
Shonda had another one. She said, I'll go to jail over mine.
Well, you're supposed to. You're supposed to go to jail.
Brother Ray shared it. We appreciate it, Brother Ray. Says Shonda Royal for life.
Yeah, this is what it's all about, Chazz. Let's get back down to some of the things that we haven't discussed yet. So we have so much. What number? Number 8. Well, here we go then.
Many of us have been in denial for too many years when we talk about the unforeseen danger that our children face every day. Yes, we are, especially with them. And I told you this, brother, with them getting on social media, there's so many challenges, brother, on social media. And I have to hit this home with social media.
Okay.
There was a black man who lost his life a few months ago months ago from that one chip challenge. These are the kind of things that's going to happen. And I'm starting to believe, brother, let me ask you this real quick and I'll get back.
Okay.
Would you think that our kids shouldn't be allowed on social media at all? Because I'm getting to that point, brother, where I should say just negate all of it and get them off of it because it's too much harm out there.
Well, and I think a parent that's in their child's life should know all of these things. And so, but the parents are allowing this, you see, because the parents, many of us, we don't want to be bothered. So we give them the computer, we give them the roadblocks, we give them the tablet, we give them the cell phone, so that can occupy their time. And this is the problem. And most of us know this is true, but we're too chicken, you know what, to do something about it. And this is why it is the way it is, Chazz. And a lot of us don't want to have these discussions. This is why I'm glad this broadcast is called Adults Only. Because adults need to talk about this, but we're also conscious. We're also spiritual. We're also religious. You know, we're also into education. But what about these precious children? When are we going to have more shows like this on television? More shows like this on social media? More shows like this tomorrow when you're eating your turkey and eating your chitlins and eating all your food? When are we going to sit around that table and ask these little kids? This will be beautiful, and I know they won't do it. Watch this, though. Everybody's sitting around the table tomorrow. You call yourself thankful for all these things. If there are children on at that table, why don't someone says, do you see all these people at this table? The child gonna say yes. Has any of them bothered you? See, now that's when you're gonna roll something. Oh no, Chazz, no, Chazz. That's what a man should do. That's what a woman should do. So we can prune this son of a gun out right there.
And I want to touch up real quick on this where it says many of us in denial, because I know what a lot of people are thinking. Oh, they just hyping this up. That's only a few isolated situations.
No,
that's not in a couple of states where this is happening. Brother, these things are happening at a rapid rate. And I keep saying this, if we don't get a hold of this, it's going to spread like wildfire. We're going to be engulfed in this thing.
Yeah, we really are. We really are.
Brother Ray says, right, the internet is bad for teenagers and children. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I need to touch back on that.
Okay.
The apps, for example, brother, we can do all we want. We could put blockers on our kids' apps. We could delete the apps, brother. But I also believe those apps, and I have to keep saying this. I don't think that I would teach them just the basic things. Give them little TV, give them some time outside in nature or what have you.
Okay.
But I really believe that just delete social media at all costs.
If you're watching this broadcast, this gentleman's name is Chazz. Now I'm Big Brother Jahi. The name of the broadcast in the total sense is adults only. But tonight we're talking about a subject that most of us should want to talk about. And the subject is, you better watch who you allow to watch your children.
Oh, yeah.
This is a subject that we should have. But a lot of us, Chazz, I want to ask you this. This is not on the notes.
Okay.
Why does it seem like adults, us, why do we stick our heads in the proverbial sand and don't like to discuss this until something pops off and then all hell breaks loose?
And that's the thing, brother. It's society is like that. Nobody cares until it happens to their kid.
Okay.
Nobody cares until it happens to them. And
Okay.
then when it happens to them, we all want to get a revolution. We
Okay.
want to march. We want to pick. It shouldn't come to that.
Right.
But and a lot of us, brother, I think that's the easier thing is always easier to do. Just act like none of this is happening,
Okay.
blow it off, and
Okay.
that way we don't raise our blood pressure.
Chazz,
We
what
don't-
is wrong? What is wrong with us, man, as a society? What is wrong with us that we don't see the importance of what we're talking about? We just don't seem to care.
Brother, I just said this a few seconds ago. Most of America does not care until it happens to them. And it's sad. I hate when I hear people say that, oh, I don't care, that's not me. How could you live in a society and not care for others? You selfish person. That's just wrong.
Wow.
Number 9, if we talk to our children more and stop talking about them, we will find out that they have challenges that we can help them with. That's absolutely correct. I'm going to defer to you on this one.
Okay. We talk about our children more than we talk to them. In other words, we tell our neighbors, a lot of women and men, child, let's say if my son's name is Freddie, child, Freddie, something else. I caught that in doing this the other day. Freddie ought to be ashamed of himself. Boy, Freddie ain't gonna never learn. Then we call our uncle, Freddie. How's Freddie?
Yeah.
Man, Freddie ain't no good.
Yeah.
Man, and so we just talking about them. Freddie is rotten. And so Freddie feels these things. And as Freddie grows up, he thinks that he's this way.
Yeah.
That's abuse, Chazz. But none of y'all want to talk about that kind of abuse, but you want to talk about a pedophile, which you should and all that.
Yeah.
But we don't want to talk about that kind of abuse.
Right.
We get on the phone and talk about our kids and our relatives to other people instead of trying to help them. And so this is a problem that I have, Chazz.
And that is a secret one, brother. I mean, to me, unless there's something like life or danger, like if your son gets in a car accident or daughter gets in a car accident,
that's
okay.
understandable.
But I agree. We shouldn't be exposing our. I don't want people to know what's going on in my child's life. That's precious.
They do it today. They do it today.
I wouldn't want that. And why would you want to gossip? Because the people who are getting this.
Because you got some sick. I'm gonna cut you off, Chazz, not being disrespectful.
Okay.
You want to gossip because you don't have a damn life yourself. So you call your sister, you call your auntie, you call your cousin, you call your brother, you call your cousins and all these people, and you don't have a life, so you have to have something to talk about. Okay. And because you have no life yourself, you want to call yourself exposing these precious kids, and it's not like that. They do it when they're young, they do it when they're middle-aged, they do it when they're older. Getting on the phone and calling like you're a little baby and talking about these kids don't need to be talked about, Chazz. They need to be talked to.
And what about, brother, when they are around the house? And sometimes you could try to call yourself sneaking it in. When they stagger across and hear that, brother, that will crush a kid. When they hear their mommy or daddy exposing them like that, and they hear some of the things. So some of us aren't nice. We're cussing. We're putting them down. And our kids hear that and they internalize that, brother. It's not good. And I know we could do better.
And it's a weak mind trying to express itself. Okay. So you better watch who you allow to watch your children. This broadcast is not liked by many, Chazz.
I know.
This broadcast is probably one of the most despised. When people look at this for 3 or 4 seconds and they see that it's hot, this is a hot one. They don't want to listen to it because they rather go to a building and sing songs of Zion. They rather go to a place and talk about some mysterious myth. These things that we get into, they don't want to come to grips with. Our children are struggling, and instead of us sitting around trying to come together and come up with ways we can help our kids, we're sitting around talking about them as if they're like dogs or something.
Number 10, some of us erroneously think that abuse only comes in physical and verbal. Yes, brother, like emotional abuse. Not showing your kid the proper affection and attention is abuse. Not if you have food and you say, you know what, because Lil Bam Bam was bad, I'm not going to give him any food tonight. That's abuse. There's some kids, because Lil Bam Bam didn't have perfect A's, I'm not giving him anything to drink today.
Yeah,
I'm gonna show him that. And see that mentality, brother. That's outdated.
Yeah,
you shouldn't even do that.
And I'm gonna add to that. And little Bam Bam is sick and needs to go to the doctor. Little Bam Bam ain't had his teeth cleaned. Little Bam Bam ain't had his eyes checked. Little Bam Bam ain't had a physical, because that's abuse too. But because we're so busy looking for the boogeyman under the bed, we're looking for the molester. We're looking for the pedophile, but we're not looking for these types of people. And these are the people, along with those other people, that have ravaged our community. And most of us ought to be ashamed of ourselves, because we don't want to look at this kind of abuse. We don't want to look at the neglect. You don't go to your child's football game or basketball game. No. You don't go to your daughter's recital or anything. You sit around, but that's abuse. And so the child grows up wanting someone to love them, because the parent and the uncles and the aunts and all of the relatives, they're not together saying, we're going to support them. That's abuse, and we're going to talk about that in another few weeks.
And you should be. I mean, how can you have a son or daughter, know they have practice for band or practice for soccer, to sit on your butt and know his activity starts at 6 and say,
right.
I refuse to show up to his activities.
That's sad.
That hurts. You should. And the thing is, when kids see that and they see other kids, their parents are in the crowd, their parents are edging them on, brother. Our kids, they may not be able to talk like us, brother, but they know something that will crush their soul. And then they have to come home. And once again, and I don't agree with this, but that's how they call their little selves pushing back. When they get home, they're a little bit more on the edge, a little bit more spicy. Well, they're trying to express something is wrong. You won't address it, so I have to show some kind of attention.
Yeah, that's true, Chaz. That's true.
Number 11. In some cases, our children are telling us they have been or have been abused by their behavior. We call that acting out, but it's not.
But the thing of it is when something happens to a child, sometimes, if you notice your child is a certain way, all of a sudden they flip the script. That's an indication, instead of saying that they're being selfish, they're being stubborn. No, you ask them, what's really going on? This is not like you. Has something happened to you? And a lot of times they're going to say, yes. What happened to you? It's you. What? You ain't been to my game. You haven't been to my game in I don't know how many years. You don't sit down and talk to me. You don't sit down and just be the parent. We don't do anything together. You barricade yourself in your room. You never come out with me. So you're the problem, and this is why I'm acting out. So now I want to go find somebody else to get high with, to get drunk with, to smoke with. These are the things that happen, Chaz, and you know it.
Hey, brother, I got to slip one more in because I'm a spiritual brother myself. I love to talk about religion and things like that. Here's another one that nobody really looks at. Let's forget about pedophilia. Let's forget about molestation. Let's think about this. What if our kids get introduced, and I've seen this before, and you've seen this on the news as well. A friend introduces them to tarot cards, Ouija boards. Now, this is something serious because, brother, sometimes the kids are acting out because it's not something at school or something that they smoked or drunk. Brother, our kids can become possessed. If they get introduced to a tarot card game, and they get introduced to a seance, demons will jump into that kid's body. And this is something that needs to be talked about because it looks so innocent on the tarot cards. They look fun, they look nice, they look sweet. But brother, when these demons get into these kids, our kids lose their, because they don't know what this is something from another realm that's inhabiting them. So we have to talk about this too. If you see your kid with a backpack and it comes open, and you see some tarot cards and stuff come out, you need to address that.
No. And that's another thing too, because when you look at that, our children are telling us, hey, this is what's going on, you see. And a lot of times the TV is something that's wicked. It's vile. So we let them watch TV. All the vulgarity, all the nudity, all the profanity, all the killing, all the betrayal, all the whoremongering, everything goes on TV. And we sit there and say, that's a good movie. And so we introduce our children to this at a young age. And this is why this screen is really silent now. This is why people don't want to come.
Hot.
It's real hot. And I'll tell you what, we got 3 or 4 more weeks on this. Because we're going to now I promise you this. We're excited tonight.
Oh yeah, we having fun.
We're going to
guys.
slow the train down next Wednesday, and we're going to go into some detail. We're going to be more definers next week. We're going to define what the word abuse, what neglect is. Then we're going to look at different areas so we can kind of show you that this ain't just about us blowing off steam. This is a
this is
major
for real. Yeah,
subject.
this is for real.
It really is. Somebody had a comment, Chazz. I don't want to forget. Let these comments go.
I think we need to go. Let me see here. I think it was
okay. So let's see. That's what Ray's saying. Something.
Okay, guys. I apologize if we've read these. I don't think we have, but we're just going to touch up on some of the ones that we didn't. Brother Ray says, "Spare the rod."
Okay, that's a good
spoil
one.
the child. Okay,
that's a good one. That's a good one.
There was some more comments, but
okay, what we got here? We just did this one, I believe.
Yeah,
we've done that one. We getting excited, y'all. Here's
yeah, we actually pressing buttons. We just too hyped. Number 12. Many of us love other people so much that we ignore our children's complaints about their misfortunes. I'm gonna let you get this one.
If a woman meets a man or a man meets a woman,
okay,
that woman or man has no business cursing that child out.
Right.
Talk to him like a child.
Right.
So what we do is we love the opposite sex because we want someone to love us.
Oh, wow.
So we let that other person treat our kids like that. This is what I want to uncover on the next week or the week after that. And I'm going to blow the lid off this thing because some of these women and some of us men, we're so weak, Chazz, that we allow people to treat our kids like horse manure instead of dealing with them saying, my daughter told me that you talk to her a certain way. I would not tolerate that.
Oh, yeah.
But see, we're going to say when we confront this rascal, he's going to say, no, she was just being fast. And then we'll say, oh, okay. Or we'll tell her, you don't be talking like that. This is the problem that we should be having with people right now.
Oh, yeah.
We love people so much that we let them treat our kids any old kind of way.
Oh, yeah. It's like we're afraid to confront them because if it's a relationship-wise, we're afraid that person's going to leave. So
Chazz, hold on for a second. They're going to leave.
Yeah, they're going to leave. So we rather ignore it because we want to be loved. Brother Ray said, oh, yeah, Brother Ray says celebrating Halloween is demonic too. Absolutely, Brother Ray. And I've had this discussion a lot. Our kids, when they see these things, witches, warlocks, ghouls, goblins, demons, they shouldn't be involved with that. And brother, I hate this, and not to sound like I'm old or anything. I wish back in the day, things seemed a little bit more, it wasn't as wicked as it is now. And like this brother mentioned, celebrating Halloween is demonic. And if you parents, and I'm pretty sure you do, if you have kids in this, let's just say, okay,
but the parents are involved in that, Ray and Chazz. It's the parents. See, a kid is a kid. But it's the parents who allow the kids to do these things because instead of the parent being the parent, now it's the kid that's the parent. The kid tells the parent what the kid wants to do. And then when it gets topsy-turvy and the kids gets older, then you have a problem because the parent has not been the parent. So you're right. Yes, it's wicked. Eating all this food tomorrow is wrong, but we're going to do it. Putting up a tree, making people think that a big fat white man flies through the air with 9 reindeer. That's a problem, but we're going to do it. Thinking about a big chocolate bunny that fell from the sky, that's a problem. So all these things we're saying is problematic, and it doesn't help our kids. And this is why we're struggling with the things that we're struggling with.
Yes. Number 13, this opening dialogue is to get us ready to discuss child abuse and child neglect. Absolutely. Child abuse is at a high rate. In fact, I think it's more higher than ever.
Yeah, it really is.
It's sad.
I want to talk about next week. I'm going to spend a lot of time on neglect because, see, that's the one that a lot of us, now we're going to talk about abuse, okay? But the neglect, we don't talk about that. I noticed the comments tonight. Everybody's firing away and it's great. Most of us talking about pedophile or pedophilia. We're talking about molestation. That's fine. I don't see too many people talking about neglect. See, neglect is when you leave your child at home and you go out to the club and you don't come back in till the next day. See, neglect. Go ahead.
I was going to say, some of us, we have these relatives and this is not to knock any of you. There's people in our family who we know, they go out every Thursday or Friday or Saturday or Sunday. And when we see them call, we ignore their call, brother, because we know they want to dump their kids off on us.
Exactly. And see, that's the thing. We got to start looking at neglect, because when we start looking at neglect and defining it and breaking it down, most of us going to say, I never looked at that as neglect.
Okay.
Yeah, neglect is when your child is supposed to have been to the dentist 2 years ago and you too trifling and I'm too trifling to take the child. That's a problem.
I want to say this. I forgot, brother. I should have mentioned this earlier, but I know time is winding down here. But I want to talk about puberty. These discussions should be had. Puberty, and I'm teaching them about this LGBTQ movement. A lot of these things should be had, brother, because the public school system is going to teach them most likely the opposite.
Yeah.
So when our children, if they are a male, we're adults here, if they start having things going down in their groin, they're going to want to know. Tell them these things. Don't be afraid of it. Oh, boy, you being managed. Go to your room. Don't talk. Your daughter, when they start developing chest problems and stuff like that, talk to them about these things, because if you ignore it, they go to school.
Somebody else going to talk to them.
They're going to poison them probably about it. So we need to teach them about
Chazz, we're sick. We're a sick people, Chazz. And most men and women that watch this, they're condemning us, man. They're condemning us. But yet in their hearts, they know this is the truth. This shows how mixed up this is. See, this opening dialogue is to get us ready to discuss child abuse. We just talked about that. We got one more thing to read, and we're out of here. But this is what?
Number 14. We must be very concerned about our precious little ones.
Very concerned,
We
Chazz,
have to be concerned.
Very concerned.
Because I was always told at a young age, if the parent at home doesn't teach them, the cops going to either teach them or the streets is going to teach them.
Good. That's good.
And I think that we have to have these discussions, because if we let our kids go around be disrespectful, reckless, treating people like crap, when the cops pull them over, brother, they're not going to care about any of that. So they're going to put a stick upside their head, or better yet, sometimes a bullet in them, and then we're going to be crying saying, well, where did we go wrong? Where we went wrong at is because we didn't show them attention at home. And some of the times we just don't care until something bad happens.
And Chazz, you know, people, they call their relatives when something good is happening. They call, like I saw Parliament is coming to San Antonio. So everybody gets on the phone and calls, said George Clinton is a band back old school. So everybody's calling around. I hear that this brother that's coming, that's the leading black astrophysicist, Mr. Tyson. Okay, they saying he's coming. So everybody's calling their friends and relatives to get a ticket or to get a. They won't call to get a ticket for this. You see, this is hotter than that. But they're not going to call. They're not going to post this. They're not going to share this. They're not going to like this. We are some sick people today, and many of us don't have the kahunas, as the Hispanics say, to deal with the idea of. We've got to have this discussion. I got many nieces and nephews, and so do you have cousins and friends who have been touched by this, and yet a lot of us know what's going on right under our noses, Chazz, and we're not going to say a word about it.
Yeah. Last but not least, says number 15. What happened to those of us who are giving up on? I'm sorry. What happened to those of us who have given up on our beloved children?
What happened to us, Chazz? What happened to us?
Too much social media. I think too much TV. I also want to say too much propaganda from so many different news outlets, and we have to start remembering that we control this, not the media, not TV. We need to start gaining control over what's going on in our kids' lives because they're precious, they're innocent, and we don't want to see them growing up in the way this society is going, brother. We don't want to see them going wrong.
We have about a couple of minutes to go. We're going to sign off now. But if this is any indication of what's to come, Chazz, don't you think people should be calling all over the city, all over the country, telling people to watch this broadcast?
They should.
Not because just you and I, but it's the subject matter, man.
These are important topics. And like you said, everybody should be commenting, not the world, but a lot of more people should be commenting.
Please.
We need to get more.
If we talk about relationships and all that, you're going to get a flood of them. You talk about celebrity gossip, they're going to be flooding in. But when you talk about that which affects every one of us, these precious kids, man. I teach 6 kids, 6 girls, and I'll be doggone if I'm going to allow anyone into their world. I want these girls to remember their childhood growing up, having fun, going to the zoo, having concerts, having skating parties, doing fun things. I don't want them to have memories of a pervert or a deranged man or woman in their lives. And this is why people don't want to help you, Chazz, because they know that you're going to put your foot down. But if you let the door open, everybody's going to come in, and we got to stop this nonsense.
Yeah, and I was going to say, too, I think neglect is, too, that, like, back when I was growing up, and I know we're finna wind down on time, we used to have where we were actually going out to the parks, having exercise on. Now, brother, I would say neglect is these cell phones.
See, we're going to talk about that.
We don't care about
we're going to talk
else,
about that.
But we make sure we purchase little Bam Bam a phone.
Yeah, that's neglect.
And we give little Bam Bam TikTok, and he's on that all day. But his childhood is different from mine. Not saying that mine's is better, where he didn't have that interaction. Yeah. All he knew was a TikTok reel.
Neglect is not calling your loved one that's small just to talk to them. Yeah. Hey, I'll just, the fathers and mothers that are not together. Neglect is for one of them to not call, and then all of a sudden they expect when the kid gets older, they're going to run behind, and the kid doesn't want to have anything to do with him, you see, because you neglected them all your life. And now you want them to come back to you.
What a good ending. I really, really enjoyed this, brother. Time has fled us today. I appreciate all the comments, brother Ray, Mashonda, Barbara, everybody who's commented. We're going to be back with a couple more weeks of this, and these are discussions that had to be had. Tell a friend, comment, tell people how important this is. And once again, for our little ones, if there are children listening to this, we too love you guys. Don't be afraid or nervous. We're here to help you. Yeah. Once again, big brother, I know you probably have something to say as well.
Yeah, I want to say we're getting ready to get out of here, and we're going to slow the train down next Wednesday. I promise you. I'm hoarse as I don't know what. I'm sick as a dog.
I feel like I done ran 50 miles. I'm exhausted.
I promise you, for all those who don't want to watch it because the subject matter, it's okay. Tell a friend, get you some popcorn, and have your loved ones sit down, have your children sitting down with you. Yeah. So we all can be exposed, you see. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to just break it down. And I promise you, we're going to slow it down. It's just that this subject tonight. This guy Chazz, man, remember what I told you at the beginning? We're together tonight. So I'm the last person that y'all see. You see him with me. So if I don't show up tomorrow, this guy's a suspect if something happens to me, okay? Now we have someone says, oh, that's Shimotep. And then we'll say to Brother Ray, he says too many
hours at work.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So again,
all that overtime.
There you go. On behalf of Chazz, my name is Big Brother Jahi. We love you all. And again, we get excited. Yes. But don't condemn us.
Right.
Condemn the ones who need to be condemned.
Right.
And quit thinking we know everything, because we're all in this together. Right. Tell a friend. We'll see you guys next week. We should have many, many people watching this with their minds intact. Because we're going to break this thing down, and I promise you, you're going to say, wow, they took it a whole nother different direction. Mm-hmm. Only thing we're going to do is start getting into what these words mean. And when we talk about neglect, you're going to be surprised, because a lot of us are neglecting our children right now. Again, this is the last comment. Brother Ray says, Imhotep. All right, so we'll see you all next week. And right now, you'll see our closing. And after that goes off, we're out of here. So on behalf of Chazz again, we'll see you guys on next Wednesday.
Take care, everybody.